Your gateway to East Africa.
Africa doesn't have time. We don't have time to waste. We're going to be 60% of the world's youth by 2050. All of these are alarm bells.
AI will be like your coding partner. AI will be like the next companion for you to work with.
If you want to build a capable workforce, digital literacy is a must.
We have to look at changes around regulation, digital transformation, and one of the most important things is about talent retention. We need to be able to keep those jobs here.
Have faith in yourself, have faith in your ability, and take that first step because you will not regret it.
We believe young people are not only participants, but they're agents of change.
Your gateway to East Africa.
All right. President. Thank you very much, Mr. President, and good afternoon, members of the media and the rest of the media that is joining us globally. And a bit of an apology for starting a few minutes late. As you can see, the executive committee, which was taking place here in Cairo, the home of CAF, took a little bit longer. I'd like to welcome, as I said, all the TV partners that are joining us globally. Special welcome to the CAF President, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, the members of the Executive Committee, the Vice Presidents, the Secretary General of FIFA, who's also joining us here, and of course, all the member associations that are here today. Mr. President, if I can hand over to you just to give us a summary of today's today's Executive Committee. Merci, President.
Is it on?
Yes.
Okay. It is on, eh? Let me start by expressing my deep gratitude to the media. My apologies that we started a bit later than what we thought. There were a lot of very important matters, some that came in very early this morning, and had a very, very good meeting. And just before I indicate what the process is going to be, I want to special welcome to our brother, the General Secretary of FIFA, for joining us and also sharing with us some words of advice and guidance, because this partnership between CAF and FIFA is very, very important. And regards to Gianni and to everybody in FIFA and to all of the other confederations that you're responsible for. The head of media in CAF is going to read a statement to you that is being printed as we speak, so that you can look at it, and I'll explain to you why we thought we should do it in that way. And after he has, it'll most probably arrive whilst we are in the meeting, because it also takes account of one or two things that has just come out of that meeting. And then I'll make a few remarks, and we will deal with questions that you may have. And I think it would be useful at this stage for me to thank the vice presidents for the excellent work that they've been doing. Thank you so much. And also to thank the ExCo members. Thank you so very much for your guidance, and more importantly for the spirit of cooperation and unity within the continent. So I'm going to ask Lux to read the media statement, and thereafter, as I said, I'll make a few remarks, and we will take questions from the floor. Can you read it, Lux? So this document that Lux is reading, as I said, will be given to you just after it's read. Okay, proceed.
Thank you, President. The CAF Communications Department is just preparing this document. It will be circulated to all the media that is here, and it will also be up on the CAF website in the next minute or so. So you can also find it available on the CAF website and also the CAF communication platforms. Thank you, President. If I may read it, 29 March 2026. CAF is implementing changes and improvements to the CAF statutes and regulations that will strengthen the trust and confidence in the CAF referees, VAR operators, and judicial bodies. These changes and improvements to the CAF statutes and regulations will also ensure that the incidences that took place at the final match of the Total Energies CAF AFCON Morocco 2025 do not happen again. The Confederation African de Football announced today that it is implementing changes and improvements to the CAF statutes and regulations that will strengthen the trust and confidence in the CAF referees, VAR operators, and the CAF disciplinary board and appeal board. These changes and improvements will also ensure that the incidences that took place at the final match of the Total Energies CAF Africa Cup Nations Morocco 2025 do not happen again. The CAF referees and VAR operators at the Total Energies CAF AFCON Côte d'Ivoire 2023 received widespread praise and admiration for their performance, and CAF is determined to regain that respect and admiration. CAF will continue with the procedure and practice of appointing the best and most respected African judges and lawyers to the CAF Disciplinary Board and Appeal Board. These judges and lawyers are appointed by the CAF ExCo and the CAF Ordinary General Assembly from the names proposed and recommended by the 54 CAF member associations and zonal unions. The independence and impartiality of the CAF judicial bodies is imperative. The president of CAF, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, said, this is an open quote of what the president has said. So if you can just switch off the microphone of the president. Sorry, President.
Yeah, but you can't quote me without my microphone being on, eh?
Just in case, President. The president of CAF, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, said, an open quote, CAF is currently implementing far-reaching changes and improvements to the CAF statutes and regulations, which will strengthen the trust and confidence in the CAF referees, VAR operators, match commissioners, and in the CAF Disciplinary Board and Appeal Board. These changes and improvements to the CAF statutes and regulations will ensure that the unacceptable incidents that took place at the Total Energies CAF AFCON Morocco 2025 do not happen again. CAF has taken extensive legal advice from top African and international football lawyers and experts to ensure that the CAF statutes and regulations adhere to and implement global football best practice on and off the field. This is important for the respect, integrity, credibility of African referees, VAR operators, and the credibility of the CAF Disciplinary Board and Appeal Board. CAF is working with FIFA for the ongoing training of African referees, VAR operators, and match commissioners so that they are as good as the best in the world. We must also professionalize African referees and VAR operators and pay them well. CAF has made significant progress over the past 5 years in implementing governance, ethics, transparency, and managerial best practice. Our commitment to zero tolerance for corruption and improper behavior has been recognized and rewarded by the numerous sponsors and partners that we have gained. What is also non-negotiable is our commitment and determination to treat each and every member association equally and fairly. Under no circumstances will any member association be treated preferentially or favored above any other member association. CAF will consistently review and improve on these football and governance global best practices and strengthen the trust and global competitiveness of African football. The matter relating to the incidences that took place at the final match of the Total Energies CAF AFCON Morocco 2025 are before CAS, and the primary focus of CAF currently is on the Total Energies CAF Confederations Cup, the Total Energies CAF Champions League, and other CAF competitions. CAF is also focused on working together, cooperating, and supporting each and every African nations that will be participating in the FIFA World Cup 2026 in America and Mexico and Canada. We are confident that the African nations that are participating in the FIFA World Cup will make us proud. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much, Lux. And while we are giving this printed document, which is on the website already, it's on the CAF website and will be circulated to you, is because football is a very emotional sport, and what happened at the final match in Morocco, between Senegal and Morocco, is legitimately an important issue for us to keep discussing, and for us as well to answer questions in that regard. But what we want to overemphasize is that matter is before CAS, and which is the highest decision-making body for football in the world. We will respect and implement whatever decision is taken by CAS. But CAF has got 54 nations, 54 member associations on the continent. And we will continue to engage on this issue, as I said, whatever questions you may have relating to the final match, but we now have to put that aside, because there's nothing more we can say that is not contained in what I have said previously and what CAF has said, and in this document that we are issuing to you and which is on the website, because we have to continue to do the work of developing and growing African football. We've got lots of competitions that are currently underway: the CAF Confederations Cup, the CAF Champions League, the Women's AFCON is coming up, and very, very important, the FIFA World Cup that will be taking place in America, in the US, and in Mexico and Canada. And we have to give support to every single one of the African nations that will be going to the World Cup. Just two quick issues that are very important. I'm the president of CAF, and as president of CAF, I have a duty that emanates from the CAF and FIFA statutes and regulations. I also have a duty relating to governance, to ethics and fair play. But I'm also a football fan and a football supporter. And it's very important that the challenges that have been in African football about the impartiality of referees, about the independence of referees, it's something that has been there for many years, and we were very proud when we got recognition and praise all over the world for the way that the referees and the match commissioners conducted themselves in the AFCON in Côte d'Ivoire. And there's a lot of work that we've been doing to make sure that the training that's taking place with the referees, and partly why we are so grateful is Matthias is here, the partnership that we have had with them to train African referees, because African referees are as good as the best in the world. But we have to keep training them, and not just training them, we have to pay them well. We've got to encourage in Côte d'Ivoire the process of professionalizing African referees. We made a lot of progress, and I'm told that we have to continue, because there were certain issues that did not proceed as I had instructed. So we will continue to professionalize our referees and VAR operators. I benefited enormously from the feedback that the chairman of the CAF Referees Committee came to give the ExCo at the last meeting, just after the AFCON in Morocco. And we asked them lots and lots of questions. But let me say something else as well. There are certain decisions that referees make, and including our judicial bodies, the disciplinary board and the appeal board at CAF. Now, as a football fan, let me give you an example. Mamelodi Sundowns is playing against young Africans in South Africa. And there's what looks like a goal. For me, I was watching it on TV, that's scored by Yanga. And I immediately said, it is a goal. And of course, it's a goal for Yanga. And it occurs to you in those moments that be careful, because we are president of CAF. So, and then they went through VAR, and VAR said it's not a goal. What I want to overemphasize is football fans all over the world and in Africa will have their own views about the performances of referees and VAR operators. And it is our duty. We have to keep working. We've got to keep improving. We have to win the confidence and the trust of ordinary football players. In the previous statement I issued, I said it's irrelevant. I can stand here and say, we've got the best referees, they are independent, they are impartial. But if the ordinary football spectators on the continent and elsewhere think they are not so impartial, it's not good for African football. And we have to keep working. But we have to move away also from the perception that somehow our problems in Africa and our weaknesses in Africa are greater, bigger, more embarrassing, more extreme than the problems that happens in other parts of the world. And side by side with it, we should not use as an excuse the failures that happens at other parts of the world. We have to take responsibility for ourselves and continue the good work. And I'm confident that that we will succeed. And you will see one of the things we discussed today is there's a standing agenda item, because ExCo has to take more leadership in terms of the CAF statutes, but also in terms of making sure that our commitment to ensuring that African referees and match commissioners are as good as the best in the world. Now, why I mentioned the Mamelodi Sundowns Yanga match is also an indication that, again, the CAF judicial bodies, the CAF disciplinary board and the CAF appeal board, their independence and their respect for due process is something that all of us will have to, and we are all committed to that. And, you know, there may be decisions that are taken by the CAF judicial bodies which I personally may not be excited about, and in fact which I may not agree with at all as a football spectator. But as the president of CAF, I have a duty to make sure that the independence and the integrity and the credibility of our judicial bodies are respected. And that's why the decisions that were taken by the disciplinary board on the matter between Morocco, the match between Morocco and Senegal, as well as the decision that was taken by the appeal board. These are bodies, as I said, which consist of some of the most respected judges and lawyers in Africa. And we changed from what happened in the past. In the past, the president of CAF would have a huge influence, and in fact, the perception was he would, in essence, appoint the judges and the lawyers on the disciplinary board and the appeal board, as well as have a disproportionate influence in the identification of referees. We've made it very clear that every single one of the judges and lawyers and members of the appeal board and the disciplinary board were chosen from the names that were submitted to the ExCo by the 54 member associations as well as by the zonal unions. So we will defend at all times the independence and the integrity of the process, the procedure of appointing judges of our judicial bodies, and also we will at all times respect the decisions that they take. Whether I agree or disagree with them is irrelevant. I have to respect and enforce those decisions, and the same applies to our referees. The WAFCON will continue, as we said previously, in Morocco, and we will be having the under-17 as was previously allocated, the dates, I think early in April, and those will also take place in Morocco. Let me say two things about Morocco. Often there are bids that we expect. You know, we put out a tender and say, can any country or any member association that wants to host a competition, can you come and give us an offer or put up a bid? And on some of the most unprofitable and difficult competitions, like futsal, like the Women's Champions League, I know because we get feedback. You lose money. You don't make money there. It's difficult. And in some of these proposals that we receive for hosting, Morocco is the only offer. And I've emphasized that we have to give each and every one of the zones opportunities to host competitions. But I have to proceed and make sure that the African competitions continue. So if I have only an offer from one country, I've got to proceed. And often that single country is Morocco. Sorry, I see they're circulating the statement from that Lux was reading to deal with that other issue. One other thing I must emphasize is I will be visiting Senegal, and thank you very much, the chairman of the CAF legal committee and my brother from Senegal, who's also, did they say from Nigeria? He's my brother. Thank you so much, Sengo, for being with us, and he's an ExCo member. And so I'll be visiting Senegal to meet with the football in the next few weeks, to meet with the football leadership in Senegal, to meet with the government. And my message is very simple. We are deeply committed, and I will give the same message when I go to Morocco, which is the same message I give to every one of the 54 countries in Africa which I visit. The message to the football leadership and the message to the people of Senegal and the leadership is to say we are deeply committed to work together, to cooperate and help you develop and grow football in Senegal, and we'll also talk about the importance relating to the support that we will be giving as CAF to Senegal for the FIFA World Cup, because it's very, very important. But also to emphasize our commitment and our love. Our commitment and our love for the people of Senegal and for the football constituencies in Senegal. The steps that Senegal has taken to appeal the decision of the CAF Appeals Board to CAS is something that we don't only respect, but every country has a duty. Whether it's Senegal, whether it's Morocco, whether it's Nigeria, whether it's Cameroon or any other country, they have a duty, the football leadership have a duty to, at all times, advance and protect the interests of football in that country. So we will be giving a message to say, we are with you, we support you, and we're all Africans, and we love the people of Senegal and have a deep partnership with the football leadership. I will then go to Morocco to give the same message, to say that as CAF and as the president of CAF, we are there to work together, support the development and growth of football in Morocco, and deep commitment on us as CAF to work together with the leadership of football in Morocco, to work together with the government in Morocco, and also to express our deep love for the people of Morocco and our commitment to the development and growth of football in Morocco. I must say, it really saddens me when some of the things I saw, and I'll tell you, in some of the matches when Senegal was playing in Morocco, and not the match between Senegal and Morocco, but many previous matches which I visited, and Senegal was playing against other countries in Africa. And I kept asking, but why are there so many people in the stadium? I'm excited that there were thousands and thousands of Senegalese. And the answer was, there's a deep history between the people of Senegal and the people of Morocco. And many Senegalese live in Morocco. So we are not going to allow football to divide our people or to create stress and tension. In fact, the opposite is true. Football should be the engine that unites our people. So I am enormously determined, CAF is enormously determined to make sure that those excellent relationships, the historical relationships between the people of Senegal and the people of Morocco continues to grow, and the deep relationships continue. And I was very pleased when the president of the Royal Morocco Football Federation gave me feedback this morning about the discussions and the meetings that took place a few days after the AFCON in Morocco between the leadership of the political leadership of Morocco and the political leadership of Senegal. And the message there were these challenges that relates to football. We have a proud history together, and those challenges of football will be sorted out through the proper legitimate structures. But we will continue as the governments to work together and build on the cooperation between the two countries. The WAFCON, as I said, the women's competition which was allocated to Morocco, will continue in Morocco on the dates that we issued. Partly what we want to do is to continue to increase the prize money and for the women's competition, like we've done with all the other competitions, but also to make sure that it gets a lot of attention, to make it even more attractive, more appealing, and more globally competitive. There was an important question that arose about the African Football League, which is an important question. The African Football League will continue later during the year. I wasn't happy with some of the proposals for the financial participation which we were receiving, because we knew that we should receive significantly more, but a lot of the money that initially we were intending to go to African football from the African Football League, we're getting much more from the $1 billion tender over the next 8 years that we are busy with. But something else as well, which is very important. We have significantly improved the attraction, the appeal, the competitiveness of our of the CAF Confederations Cup. When I became president, I think the prize money for winning the Confederations Cup was $1.5 million. We've made it $4 million, and we've allocated every one of the 130 football clubs on the continent that participates in our competitions. We gave them each $100,000. Initially, I started by giving them $50,000. They used to get nothing. So we did it together within CAF, and the Confederations Cup has become significantly more competitive, and the Champions League, from, I think the prize money was initially $2.5 million, we've increased that to $6 million. So an enormous amount of progress is taking place, but we are not going to conclude an agreement for the African Football League or for any other competition with any partner without us being satisfied that we are getting compensated, we are getting resources, we are getting financing that is, and funds that are what we deserve. So I just want to check whether there were not a few other issues, and I've emphasized, and one other very important issue. You can see today I've got our brand new interim, and it's interim because I got a call one evening from Veron who said, "President, I need to talk to you." And this was after we had a lot of discussions on many other issues. And he said, "I want to come to South Africa." I said, "What is it?" He said, no, President, I need to talk to you privately." So we had a meeting, and he was saying to me that President Tshisekedi, and on behalf of the people of the Democratic Republic of Congo, have asked him to come and assist and come and help with football development within the Democratic Republic of Congo. And he says, "Listen, I'm very strong, but I feel like I want to make a contribution to the development of football." My apologies, in a country that has been so, it's my country, I grew up there, that has been so helpful. So we are very excited because we had to appoint somebody as the CAF ExCo at short notice. I'm very proud because, you know, as a leader of an organization, part of your duty is succession planning, and it starts with you as the president of CAF. I can walk out of here, there's a bus, it knocks me down, and I don't see the sun anymore. There should be people immediately that can take over the responsibilities I had as president of CAF and continue the good work, because, as I've always said, no organization in the world succeeds because of one individual. Whatever I have achieved over the last few years has not been because of me. It has been because of the vice presidents and the ExCo and the member associations and some excellent people in the secretariat that I've had the privilege to work with. So we are enormously grateful to Veron for his contributions and the work he did for the development and growth of African football. We will, at some stage, give the proper recognition, have an occasion where we will express our gratitude to Veron and to his family. But I'm very proud. You know, what I like about Samson is, you know, you've got a president who speaks, I don't know, 7 or 8 languages, but my French is I don't know why they gave me a French name. I know why they named me after Patrice Lumumba, but anyway. Samson is fully bilingual because it's important for me and CAF that the General Secretary, particularly when you've got a president whose French or Portuguese is almost non-existent, that you've got a Secretary General that is fully bilingual. Samson loves African football. My relatives in Nigeria, I think, and on other parts of the African continent should feel very proud that we've got one of our very own from the continent. And the vice presidents will lead the process and will report to me on the identification of a permanent General Secretary. And I've told Samson, whether he likes it or not, I'm going to put pressure on him also to apply for the position to be permanent. I did promise him I'll give him a little bit more money because it's, he says, President, I've got lots of expenses. And of course, we want to employ some of the smartest and the brightest in the Secretariat, and part of employing some of the smartest and the brightest is to look after them and pay them competitive salaries. I'm confident that Samson will do a good job. The vice presidents will start the process of working with a world-class recruitment agency, and people can apply from the continent, from all over the continent, including those who are part of the diaspora. And the vice presidents will keep me informed. But there'll be a short list of 5, and we will invite that short list of 5 because we're doing it differently from how it was done in the past. In the past, the president came and said, there's my General Secretary, and ExCo said, thank you, let's move on. We're changing that because ExCo and the 54 member associations that represent 54 countries must take ownership. Just like they must take ownership of the identification of referees in accordance with the FIFA and CAF statutes through the referees committee. ExCo must also take leadership of the respect and integrity of the decisions of the judicial bodies. And it starts with making sure that these bodies have got the very best with a lot of integrity and the best skills and expertise. So Samson has started immediately, and he will be leading us going forward. Okay, I think, and I'll be visiting Kenya in May. There's a meeting of heads of state, and I wasn't initially going to go to Kenya, but some of the heads of state are people I've known for many years, and they were insisting. So I'll use that visit to Kenya. There's some certain things they've asked me to do whilst I'm there, but I'll use that visit to inspect the stadiums and infrastructure in Kenya for this very important competition that's going to take place next year. And I just want to conclude, we will be giving you more information on what I've said because you've asked a lot of important questions. We are making huge progress with FIFA and with the other confederations to make sure that the global football calendar, because part of the problem of the African Football League was some of the professional soccer leagues were saying to me, President, our fixtures are congested. If you bring a new competition, we don't know where we'll accommodate. And I said, but look at the prize money. And as I said, we are still involved in discussions. We really want to make sure that that they give us, the partners we are talking to, gives us the money that we deserve. If not, then we'll just not continue with them because our football competitions are world class. But the important thing for us is to to make sure that that when I go to Kenya, we look at the infrastructure and facilities. And we announced this new competition that initially is taking the place of the CHAN, called the African Nations League. Now, the African Nation League, in conclusion, there'll be two of them. The one is going to be called African Nations League Continental, which will take the format every year of competitions in the regions or zones, with the two winners from each of the regions or zone coming to the country that is hosting them. So you'll have the country, let's say for example, Ethiopia hosts, there'll be 16 nations from East Africa playing in Ethiopia, and the two winners from the other 5 zones will all come and play the finals in Ethiopia. But that'll happen every second year. But as I said, we will have the best players, all the players who are in Europe, in North America and in China will play every year in an African competition. So that's what's called African Nations League Continental. Now this is important. The African Nations League Pan-African, as I told you earlier, will be identical to the current AFCON. So you will have every year a world-class competition on the African continent with the best players from the continent who play all over the world, playing in Africa. In the past, they only came once every 2 years. So now they're going to come every year. And every 2 years, we will have what's called the African Nations League Pan-African, which is a replica of 24 nations, which we currently have. And every 4 years, we will have what you currently call the AFCON. And the difference there is that the AFCON will have 28 nations rather than the current 24. So the commitment we've made of having world-class football on the African continent with the best African players from every year, from all over the world, will proceed. Okay, I think there may be other issues. Remember what I said, you've got the document now that was circulated that talks about the final match in Morocco between Senegal and Morocco. We are not going to say anything more than what we've concluded and what we've said there. And partly why we've put it into writing is because we really want you to take account that we've got 54 nations, we've got football competitions, and we don't want to be focusing all the time on issues relating to what happened between Morocco and Senegal, particularly because legally we may not comment, I may not comment anyway, until the judgment of CAF has been issued. Okay, I haven't forgotten anything, eh? Okay. So I'm told this press conference is going to be short and sweet. Sweet in the sense that you will ask all the questions that that you want to ask, and we will respond and deal with all of them. Lux, can we? So we'll take the questions as you present them. Thank you.
Shukran, President. I will take the questions. I think I'll make it Egyptian side. Sorry, there is Syed Mohammed.
I want to speak Arabic.
Yeah, you can speak in Arabic.
Just a minute.
I just want to make sure they can translate. And you can speak in Swahili and Wolof, Sengo. It's Wolof as well, eh? You can speak in Wolof and Portuguese as well. Okay.
Okay,
is it working now? Just say. Thank you. شكرا.
شكرا. محمد سعيد، صحفي مصري، موقع وين وين. عندي اولا تعليق. يمكن البيان الصحفي الصادر من الاتحاد الافريقي يشير الى هناك تطور جديد بالنسبه للوائح، وده امر مهم جدا بشكر عليه بالتاكيد قاده الاتحاد الافريقي. ولكن هناك سؤال يتعلق ب شرح لفكرة قرار لجنة الاستئناف في موضوع المغرب والسنغال. صدر قرار باعتبار السنغال منسحبا وخسارته 3-0، لكن هل فكرة تجريد السنغال من اللقب ده شيء مؤكد من قرار لجنة الاستئناف، خاصة في ظل ان السنغال احتفلت باللقب في ملعب دي فرانس بالامس في مباراة ودية؟ فعايزين تفسير او توضيح، هو قرار اداري باعتباره منسحبا فقط ولا هناك قرار بتجريده من اللقب؟ وتعليقك على احتفال السنغال باللقب بالامس.
Yeah, very good question. We're very clear. We have to follow the CAF and FIFA statutes and regulations, and we've given Senegal the money, and 10 million Sengo. We've given them the money and we've given them the trophy, and of course Morocco is appealing. We're very clear in our position as far as CAF is concerned. Whatever decision is taken by CAS, we will respect that. And the advice that we've been given is that we may not express any opinions on whose case is right or whose case is not right. And as I said, the independence of the judicial bodies. I must say I was a bit surprised because the media said the CAF president supports a decision. I respect the decision. Whether I agree or disagree, whether I like it or not, it's irrelevant. I respect it and I've got to implement it. I told you the Sundowns Young, I thought that, you know, as a football fan, I thought that should have been a younger goal, a young African goal. But the respect for the integrity and impartialities of referees is crucial, and that's non-negotiable. And the same applies, the respect for the independence of the judicial bodies is something that we respect. Again, whether we like the decision, whether I like the decision, whether I agree or disagree, my personal opinion is irrelevant. My duty is to implement it and respect that, because that is how institutions and bodies all over the world are run. That's the right thing. Okay. Any other question?
Thank you, President. I'll just come back to an Egyptian first. Okay. Hadi?
Yes. Okay.
Yes, okay.
Here.
Hadi?
Hello? Hadi Almeida.
Yeah, you can ask in Arabic, yeah?
Okay.
Well, you speak English.
I can speak English, okay, no problem.
Don't try and speak English if you prefer Arabic. Arabic is as beautiful as whatever language you want to speak.
I can speak English, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Hadi Almedani.
Just talk a bit louder.
Hadi Almedani, Egyptian journalist for RialAkora.com. I would like to ask, do you think that Morocco have a favor to the African football?
So do I think Morocco has what?
Having a favor to the African football that we should pay back. هل هناك جميل للمغرب على الكرة الإفريقية؟
Is favored?
No. Have a favor. هل هناك جميل للمغرب على الكرة الأفريقية؟
You see, I'm listening to my translator here says, do I think Morocco has a favor?
Not favor, no favorite, favor.
Can you say it in Arabic?
Do we do what? Come nearer, man.
Tabet?
هل المغرب لها جميل على الكرة الأفريقية لازم ندفعه نرده؟
A favor for Morocco.
Is CAF paying back?
Okay. Has CAF got a favor to Morocco?
No.
And now we have to pay back that favor. Okay. Is that the question? That is the question.
Okay, mainly I'm saying if Morocco have a favor to the African football, Morocco have a favor to the African football. Okay. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Is that the question? Whether Morocco has a favor to CAF? And it also means whether CAF favors Morocco. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's it. Now, you see, if you look at, thank you so much. If you look at what I said in the video, I can stand here and say we treat everybody fairly and equally. And that's a duty we have. And we've got to display that in everything we do, so that we don't say one thing and our behavior and conduct reflects something else. It's not good for African football that any country, whether it's Nigeria, whether it's I don't know, Uganda or Idris, whether it's Cote d'Ivoire or Ethiopia. So we are very, very alive to the perceptions of ordinary football people, but also to the perceptions of ExCo members and the CAF member associations. And I must say, I benefit enormously from private discussions. And you know, they always say there must not only be justice, but justice must be seen to be done. So we've got an enormous obligation to football on the continent, to the members, to make sure that at all times, in their views, and if they think that we are not living up to the very high standards, you know, they should let us know, and we have to live up to those. But I can assure you, in the statement you have, I'm very clear. Under no circumstances will any country, any member association be treated preferentially, more favorable, or more advantageous than any other country. It will never happen.
All right, I'll go to you. More? No,
man. Let's go to Nigeria first. Yeah.
No, after Yanangzazaguya president.
Okay.
No, you go and then after him. It's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry,
I mean, I've got many pauses.
Sorry,
okay,
President.
Thank you. It's fine.
Bilal Sisi, Egyptian journalist. My questions by Arabic language.
Sorry, you speak Arabic?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. They are not translating. Thank you. Thank you.
بداية مرحبا بكم في مصر، ويعني في عادة حضرتك كلام كتير واتهامات كتير بتوجه لحضرتك والمجلس الكاف ان انت عدم استقلالية قرارات المجلس او الكاف حاليا، وان الكاف ما هو الا بينفذ القرارات اللي بتجيله من الفيفا دون اي اتخاذ او استقلالية في القرار من داخل الكاف.
Thank you. Did you hear that, Matthias? Did you hear your Arabic? They say that CAF tells you what the decisions of FIFA should be. No, I'm just joking. No, it's we have to keep working and gaining the confidence of our people over and over. Now, let me tell you something else. You know, I was supposed to be president of CAF for one term, and part of my duty is to make sure that the people who take over from me, that the legacy we create reflects that we are that our primary duty and commitment is to Africa. I mean, Matthias knows, he's my brother. Many times he complains and says, yeah, but you know, remember I'm the General Secretary of 6 continents, and you always want me to do only what Africa says, but there's also the deep commitment. We're all worried, you know, we're only as good as our legacy, and we don't write our legacy. It's ordinary people and our various stakeholders. And we have to make sure that when they write that legacy, they must have found that we really tried in good faith and genuinely to do what's in the best interest of African football. Are there instances where we may not have succeeded as much as we would have wanted to? There will always be those instances. But we are enormously proud that we have made significant progress. The numbers speak for themselves, the track record over the last 5 years, and as I said, those who come after me will continue with the good work. But we are never going to allow that part of our legacy is that FIFA or any other entity dictated to us. That will never happen. Or that we treated any other country more favorably than any other one. It's never going to happen. Or that we allowed our judges and our judicial bodies to take decisions that they couldn't defend legally, whether people agree with those or not, but those decisions must be arrived at with the greatest amount of good faith and integrity. Or that our referees and match commissioners take decisions which don't reflect what happens on the field of play. It's never going to happen. We've worked too hard, and it's part of not just our duty, but our legacy to those who come after us. Next question.
Osaso, you've been waiting. Sorry guys, can someone give the microphone there? Just make sure the microphone is working.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. President. The last time we spoke...
Is this my water?
Yeah. The last time we spoke in Rabat, it was a little bit of a testy conversation, and I hope this time we can just talk to each other without any exchange. I just wanted to say before I ask my questions, I think it's only fair I talk about this, and I think Samson will understand, because he was with me at the beginning of the week. We had to bury Emmanuel Maradas, the editor of African Soccer, who was a great pioneer for African football.
I'm sad to hear that, and I mean, I knew him. What an exceptional human being. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just sad, but I'm also a bit embarrassed that it wasn't brought to my attention. It's somebody that I respected and knew, and will continue. So my condolences to him and his family.
Thank you. Anyway, he will tell you because he was there, and he can brief you fully about what happened during the funeral.
He said he went to represent CAF because I was in a zero reception area. Thank you.
Okay, so let me just ask a couple of questions. In an ideal situation, I would rather do this one-on-one with you so that everyone else can ask their questions, but this is the only opportunity I have. So
you will have an opportunity for a one-on-one. We'll work on that. Because okay. I've given one or others, you'll have that opportunity.
Okay, let me ask my questions quickly. During the last ExCo meeting you had in Dar es Salaam, you did promise that the WAFCON would take place as scheduled. You said it in Dar es Salaam. But the tournament has been postponed, and we are yet to be given a proper reason why this tournament was postponed. I was with the 3-time African goalkeeper of the year at the beginning of the week, and she's really upset that
Give me the name.
Going. Chiamaka Nadozie, the 3-time Golden Glove
Absolutely.
Player. Yes, so she was really upset that they are not going to the WAFCON, and they've not heard a proper explanation from you, and they want to have one from you as the president, being that you promised that this tournament would be held on time. That's the first question. Being that you're a lawyer, and I'm a lawyer as well, I totally understand that the case is sub judice and you cannot talk about the case itself. But one thing you certainly can talk about is about the integrity of our judicial bodies. One of the members of the appeals board is a president of a football federation, Mr. President. I cannot understand how a political person, which a president is sitting as a member of a judicial body of CAF. I want to ask, did the governance, risk and compliance people miss this totally, that he is a member of your appeals board? And what will be done about this in future to ensure that our judicial bodies in CAF are totally independent? Then the other question I have to ask you, one amongst many, is it's good you have a general secretary now who has replaced your former one. But as you know very well, Mr. President, his tenure expired on the 15th of October last year when the 3-year extension you gave to him expired. we would like to know why you didn't take action as and when due in October. Why did it have to take until now to have a general secretary who is new? You're a lawyer, and I know you were.
Please, I'm not a lawyer.
Well, you did train us one.
I never believed in my judgment. I asked lawyers like you and others.
No, but you're an attorney, Mr. President. You were an attorney, so you know the law. You know the law, and I know you're a very smart man. You know the law. So we want to just ask, why were the regulations of CAF not obeyed to the letter, being that you say you are a man that believes in the rule of law and good governance? Thank you.
Thank you. Very good questions. Very good questions. And I can assure you, let me first start with the first one, that in Tanzania, I was very clear in my mind that despite the challenges at the time, everything had to be done to make sure that the women's competition continues. And it has been postponed, just like last year we had to postpone the CHAN. It will be enormously successful. We have a duty, and I have a duty, to explain. And talking about the duty I have, I need to emphasize, for as long as I'm president of CAF, whether I know or am not aware of problems or deficiencies or shortcomings, I have to account. The buck stops with me. And that is critically important. So we have engaged with all of them. And I think all of the member associations we engaged with have a clear understanding that indeed there were circumstances that we had not foreseen. And we could have forced it, and it would have, you know, I had a similar problem in Cameroon, where the advice I was given, which was genuine advice, was to stop the AFCON. The first AFCON when I became president. Big problems. We were not ready, the stadiums. But I insisted there that we had to continue, because it was also about giving confidence to our people that despite all the challenges on the continent, we could do so successfully. So we've been engaging with all the member associations for the Women's AFCON, and there's a huge amount of appreciation and support as to how we should move forward. You raised a very important point. The integrity of our judicial bodies is non-negotiable. And you said something very important. You know, for me, this issue is it's a personal issue, because it's not only about the integrity and the independence of our CAF judicial bodies. It's also about the examples we set and the practice we set within football, which is equally important for the independence and the integrity of our judicial bodies on the continent. It's very important. If young boys and girls who wish they want to become lawyers and they want to become judges, and they see that the example we set in football doesn't reflect the high standards of integrity and due process and legality, it's a disservice to our continent. You know, I've spent many years trying to promote investment in our continent, because it's important to create jobs. And we've received lots of complaints by investors who said, we invested in this country, and the matter went to court, and the decision that was taken is totally out of line with legal jurisprudence and equity and fairness worldwide. So I'm happy you raised that, because it's something that we have a big duty to make sure that we really set the right examples for our continent to follow in the judicial and the legal systems in those countries. And you were talking about Veron and October 15. The agreement that we did with Veron allowed us to extend it. So we acted in accordance with what was provided in that agreement. And that's very, very important because, you know, as much as we say the independence of our judges in our judicial bodies and lawyers and the independence of our referees is something that, you know, we only gain because of our conduct. So on this issue about Veron, we followed what the proper issue was in relation to the agreement we had with him. And at the last ExCo last year, he did remind us of what was, because I forgot, I don't remember what's in the agreement. But thank you for those important questions. And oh, my apologies. And then I think you were in my meeting this morning about the gentleman from Tunisia. Yeah, let me just repeat. No, you asked because I asked the same question. I said, guys, how, you know, I am even reluctant to talk to the members of the CAF judicial bodies when there's a matter, because these Chinese walls must not be only as strong, it's got to be as far apart as possible. And you know, when Senghor called me, I didn't even know the judgment, because they know that, you know, I must not get any preferential access. The process is they tell the parties, and then when they finish the part, so Senghor must have heard from the parties, because I didn't know it. And when I was told that, because I didn't even know the people who were part of that decision, and simply because I have to respect the process. And when they said to me, one of the people is the president of a member association, I said, guys, what the hell is this? You know, how did he get there? And they gave me all of these legal explanations, which number one is a lawyer, he's been appointed. Now, what is his name again? Osasu. We have to learn from these things, you know. And part of learning is a basic sense of humility. I'm told that this was done legally. The lawyer said, perfect. But, you know, we've got to learn. The chairman of the disciplinary body is from Senegal. And he didn't sit in that meeting, which was correct, when the disciplinary board took that decision. But the first time I met him, I didn't know him. And I said to him, listen, when the names were discussed in ExCo from all of the member associations, they told me, President, this gentleman from Senegal, he's a headache. He's going to give lots of problems. I said, that's why I want him. That's exactly why, because if he is such a stubborn, independent person, that's exactly what we want. Who will look at the law and arrive at the decision and say, I don't care whether CAF president likes this or not. I don't care whether ExCo likes it or not. Those are the people we need. So, so this issue, going back to this gentleman from who's the president, he's the president of Tunisia, yeah. So I immediately said, but guys, he shouldn't have been there. And they gave me all sorts of legal explanations, which and again, I can't express on appeal, but the lawyer said there was an absolutely correct legal reason why he was there. He's a lawyer, he's a member, and then they said, this is what happens all over the world, all of the members. But we will go to into these things. And why I want to thank you for what you raised is because when the CAS decision has come out, we really have to look at this honestly and in a forthright manner. and ask ourselves, are there certain things that we could have? But again, the judges themselves decide. There's a rotation system. They decide how they participate, but we will have to relook at all of these issues, see what happens in UEFA, what happens in FIFA. I am told that what we did at CAF is in line with the best practices in the world. But, we have to learn. And if there are issues that we can do better in the future, we've got to do so. I can't express an opinion at this stage.
I'll go to Amro.
Yes, Mr. President.
Amro
over
from
there.
Bain.
Yeah. Amro Fami from Bein Sports.
From Bain Sport.
Bein Sports.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
I shouldn't say this, but, there's no Egyptian club in the Champions League.
Unfortunately.
Hey, man. I'm not saying the others did well, but I need Egypt. I need all of them, but I love all of them. Of course, I love Al Ahly as well and Zamalek. But I mean, to have the so Hani is not here, because Bein Sport, the viewership, whenever I've got certain nations there, just like when Nigeria and Senegal plays against South Africa, I know they say the numbers go through the roof. Beautiful. But anyway, yes. So they've made us proud, all of the football clubs on the continent, and they will continue to make us proud. And we'll continue.
Mr. President, my question is about next AFCON. You have stated in Tanzania that it's going to take place in 2027 as scheduled, but there were some reports about it being moved to 2028. And if the 2020 is going to be a separate.
Continue, I'm listening.
Yeah.
I know. Continue, I'm listening.
And if 2028 is going to be a different edition, are we going to face the same situation of having a sole bidder, and Morocco will step on to save the day as usual, or not?
I think Nigeria will save the day. I can guarantee you there's no need to save any day. Because Osasu, Osasu asked a very important question. And that's why I'm so thankful that Matthias is here. Because we've got to stop this nonsense of African fixtures not being consistent, predictable, and reliable. It's very important. I do understand when there's COVID and those sort of things, we understand it. And of course also the WAFCON issue, which we will discuss in future, really totally unforeseen circumstances. But at this stage, I'm very clear in my mind, in fact not even at any stage, we have to develop football in East Africa. Enormous potential. That's why I moved the CHAN from January last year to August last year. It's one of the best decisions we've ever taken. Because I looked at President Ruto in the eye and he said, my brother, we're going to make a success of this. And he spent a lot of money. President Museveni, huge commitment. Madame Samia, enormous commitment. So I'm clear in my mind. That's why I'm going to Kenya now. I was in Tanzania, and to emphasize, and Samson has done very good work with the teams that are there. So I'm clear in my mind. Idris is here. When I went to Cote d'Ivoire, they said Cote d'Ivoire was not ready. I would have to get help from North Africa. And we had the most successful AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire. And I'm also clear in my mind, from a CAF perspective, we had the most successful AFCON in Morocco. Those challenges that were there, CAF and African football, we will come out of the challenges of the final match between Morocco and Senegal. We'll come out of that stronger and more united. And as I said, the people of Senegal and Morocco, the proud history that exists between them, will continue. And the challenges we've had in football, we'll overcome that. So my message is clear. Pamoja is going to be enormously successful. Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda is going to be enormously successful. Okay.
You've got the last question at the back, and then we are done, President. We are on serious additional time now already, President. You have the last question. Arabic? Anglais? Arabic.
Arabic, yeah.
Osas, you'll do the translation?
Yeah, okay. Translation.
Okay.
في البداية برحب بكم طبعا في البلد الأعظم مصر اللي بتحتضن دايما كل الأشقاء من كل أنحاء العالم، منورين دايما، ومصر فخورة بوجودكم فيها. يمكن رئيس الاتحاد الأفريقي دايما بيتكلم عن التطوير والتطور في كرة القدم الأفريقية، وهو نفسه اعترف أن هناك أخطاء تحكيمية في الكثير من المباريات. هل من المعقول أن تقام مباريات دوري المجموعات في البطولة الأكبر في القارة السمراء دوري أبطال أفريقيا بدون فار في ظل بعض الحالات التحكيمية التي أثارت جدلا في الفترة الأخيرة؟ أيضا لماذا الاتحاد الأفريقي متأخر عن الاتحاد الأوروبي في قاعدة احتساب بالهدف خارج الملعب؟ يعني هل سيتم تطبيق هذه الأفكار في القريب العاجل، وخاصة أن بعض الأندية وخاصة سأتحيز الأندية المصرية كانت الأكثر تضررا من الأخطاء التحكيمية في النسخ الأخيرة من دوري أبطال أفريقيا؟ بشكرك.
Yeah. Let me tell you again how at time I've got so many things and I lose sight of things. So I watch Al Ahly play against Esperance and there's no spectators. So I said, but what happened here? Sorry? And they said to me, a decision, they said, President, some time ago we informed you that a decision was taken by CAF. Because I initially thought that Matthias would say there was some competition, FIFA competition that they participated, well, CAF and FIFA competition, because we need our spectators at the games. The fans, they make the excitement, the energy. So I was not sure whether you said that there should be football without VAR. I mean, is that, I mean, the club's disadvantage by not having VAR. Yeah, but we have to have VAR. I mean, at the quarterfinals, all the quarterfinals, there was VAR. Sorry, you want to say something? What were you saying? I can't hear you, yeah?
No, it's
just tell me, sorry, correct. You were saying. Did you hear what he said? What did he say?
The group stages, President.
Yeah. Well, from the group stages, there's no VAR. Yeah, there has to be VAR. I mean, you know, our position is improving. You know, initially we had little money, and we had to use that little money to develop and grow football as best we can. And I agree with you. This issue of VAR is a very important matter. Samson, you are the big leader there. And Wes, Richard is not here. So Richard, you must find money to make sure that there's VAR in the group stages. It's very, very important. Okay?
Thank you, President.
But CAF, you have not money?
Oh, sorry. Sorry?
Yeah, sorry, continue.
CAF, you have not money? الاتحاد الافريقي هل يعاني من ازمات ماليه وبعد في ظل التطور اللي بنشوفه في البطولات المجمعه؟
No. I will buy you lunch. We do have money to buy you lunch. No, but what I can tell you is that what I was saying is that in the beginning we had somebody must translate to him, because otherwise in the beginning we had limited resources and we had to use that the limited resources we had as effectively as possible. And the point you make about VAR in the group stage is very important. Richard and Samson, it's a matter that should receive urgent attention. Yes? There's the last question.
I think you wanted to have the last question that side, President, and then afterwards we will continue outside. Those who can will also be outside afterwards.
Yeah, question.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, please.
Speak Arabic.
Yeah.
موقع نيوز روم محمد فتح الله. أود أن أسأل حضرتك في ظل استئناف الاتحاد السنغالي وتجريد منتخبهم من لقب كأس الأمم الأفريقية 2025 لصالح المغرب، كيف تضمنون استقلالية ونزاهة اللجان القضائية أمام ضغوطات التشكيك، وما هي خطواتكم لضمان شفافية التحكيم في المستقبل؟
Very good question. Very good question. And that's why the document we circulated says very clearly that the procedure of allowing each one of the 54 African member associations, they represent 54 African countries, to submit names of the best judges and lawyers in those countries. And of course, we, those names will be reviewed within the CAF infrastructure. But the important thing is to make sure that every zone has got an equal number of members in those judicial bodies. And I'm very proud that, as I said, there are some decisions that are taken by the judicial bodies, and all of us as football spectators have got our own views. We may agree, we may not agree, we may like it, we may not like it, but that's irrelevant. We've got to respect their independence at all times, because that's very, very important. So
Shukran, President. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, members of the media.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thanks, Lux, for the excellent work. And thank you to the media. And thanks to the ExCo. Thanks, Matthias. Thanks to the Vice President. And very proud of you, Samson. Thank you. Shukran.
Your gateway to East Africa.
Africa doesn't have time. We don't have time to waste. We're going to be 60% of the world's youth by 2050. All of these are alarm bells.
AI will be like your coding partner. AI will be like the next companion for you to work with.
If you want to build a capable workforce, digital literacy is a must.
We have to look at changes around regulation, digital transformation, and one of the most important things is about talent retention. We need to be able to keep those jobs here.
Have faith in yourself, have faith in your ability, and take that first step, because you will not regret it.
We believe young people are not only participants, but they're agents of change.